Hi guys, Bran here, and welcome to a different kind of video today. Today we're going to be talking about how to build a Dead by Daylight killer build. What goes into a killer build that makes it mostly successful across most characters as you possibly can have them. Now there's going to be some exceptions to this. There's going to be characters like Nurse, who kind of mostly function aside from perks, and there are going to be characters like, say, Trapper, that need a lot of perks to function and to play differently. But for the most part, this is going to be a mentality that you can use to build most of your killer builds that will help get you more consistent results. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Your first killer build perk slot should be an info perk, something like Barbecue and Chili, Surveillance, Whispers, Lethal Pursuer, something that gives you info on where the survivors are. One of the best ways to consistently enact pressure in DBD is to constantly be in chase. Because honestly, if somebody's in chase, can't be on a gen, and once you hook that person, somebody else can't be on a gen. So consistently being in chase is super important. But to be in chase, you gotta know where the people are. So you should have at least one perk in your build dedicated to info, or letting you know where the survivors are currently at. Perk 2. Perk 2 should be an anti-chase perk. Now, this is what comes in, what I said at the beginning of the video. Some killers like Nurse don't need anti-chase perks because their power is aggressively anti-chase. Very, very aggressively anti-chase. But for the most part, most characters in DBD need some help with the chase because chase time is gen time. Time in DBD is gen time. The longer a chase goes on, that is more time that is being spent on the generators. So you need to make your chases as quick and as efficient as possible. So having one perk to help you circumvent the chase somehow, whether that be Brutal Strength, Enduring, I'm all ears, Stibiffle, something that helps make that chase go quicker so you can shave time off that chase so you can get to the hook and go back to pressuring another survivor. Even characters like Pyramid Head, who has a very, very aggressively anti-chase perk, can make use out of the perks like I'm all ears, which gives him info on where people are going, so he can actually use his M2 more efficiently. So even with the more aggressive M2 killers, sometimes it's still actually really helpful to have an anti-chase perk somewhere in your build. Your third slot should be some form of slowdown. Unfortunately, in the current era of DBD in 2022, gen efficiency has been kind of figured out. Even the average player kind of has a good idea about how to do gens efficiently. Don't group up at the beginning and group up near the end. That's kind of like the thing you do. So a lot of players don't even have to even be trying to gen rush you and just end up plowing through gens at like Mach speed, just because just gen efficiency is not a hard thing. It's a thing most people know. So they just make, I think the big thing is that it's easy. It's easy to not screw up gen efficiency. So a lot of people do it, and sometimes they don't even mean to. So you got to take that time back from a player pool that mostly knows how to go through gens quicker than what is normal. So you have to take that time back. You have to take that time back somehow. Run something like Corrupt, Hop, Scourge Hook Pain Resonance, even Jolt. There's going to be a lot of perks that do that, but you don't even have to necessarily pick perks that are specifically tied to gen slowdown. There's a lot of great perks like No Way Out and Blood Warden that still time back at the end of the game, especially No Way Out. I love No Way Out because it literally blocks the exit gate and gives you all that time back that you lost as a reward for not tunneling by blocking the exit gate for a tremendously long amount of time. It does not necessarily have to be something that specifically affects the gens, because those perks are great as well for giving that time back to you. This last perk slot, this is up to you, and this usually comes down to either your personal shortcomings or the character's personal shortcomings. If I'm playing good old Sadako here, she has a power that doesn't really have anything to do with chase. She doesn't have any sort of way to circumvent the chase whatsoever. She's kind of just really, really weak in chase. There's kind of no way to put it. She's just really, really, really weak in chase. So if I was playing Sadako, I would probably run 2 anti-chase perks because that is her weakest area. So I want to double up on the chase perks so I can better circumvent her weakness. Another good example would be Trapper. Trapper has a lot of setup time. He literally can't really chase people at the beginning of the game, and if he does, it's basically just a loss for him. So he needs extra time, more than the average character, so he can set down his traps. So I'd probably run Deadlock and Corrupt, so I'm getting double that time in order to set down my traps and begin to start rolling my pressure. And like I said, this could also come down to your own personal problems. If you have issues dealing with finding people and you have a hard time finding people consistently, you may run 2 info perks. You might run Barbecue and Whispers, or Barbecue and Thrilling Tremors. That way you can find where people are more consistently, because you as a player specifically have a hard time with your game awareness, of your map awareness, and figuring out where people are. So you're going to run double info here. And this is also just a fun slot that you can run anything on. You hate boons? Shattered Hope. If you really need to have that extra field of view, Shadowborn. So this is kind of your final slot that is mostly used to account for either you or the character's weaknesses, but it's also just a fun slot for any other perk you may want to throw on for funsies. Yeah, so those are my tips on how to build a killer build. Perk slot 1, Info. Perk slot 2, Anti-Chase. Perk slot 3, Slowdown. And perk slot 4, something to help circumvent the weaknesses in either yourself or the character itself. Do you think this is a good, consistent method to help you get better results in DBD, or do you have a better idea on how to consistently build killer builds? Let me know down in the comments below. But other than that, this will be it for today's video, friends. Hope you found this helpful, and I will see you tomorrow. But if I don't, I will see you when I see you. Goodbye.